Cast. Check. Alright. I have no idea, really. Okay, I'm going to reorg these windows from inside the cockpit. Alright. Yeah, let me just go in. Jack it into the Metanetter. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Nick Arthur. Nick Arthur tonight, coming to you live from the ATX. We got another work night in store. We're working on creative engineering. We're mapping, well, MIDI controllers to keyboard shortcuts to control Microsoft Flight Simulator. We've been at it for several broadcasts, and it looks like it may be several more. Feel free to swipe in, swipe out. Perhaps you'll find an idea or two inside. Perhaps you can, well, leverage the techniques for multitasking provided by Meta in the Meta Quest 3 headset, as well as Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And I'm sure these techniques can be utilized in any other vertical. So I'm basically getting us off into a free flight in the laboratory. And unfortunately, yeah, we're in the early days of, well, VR still. It's been over, has been a decade. It's been a while, but we are continually delivering and continually improving in the industry. Sometimes it seems as though we've gone a little bit backwards. And one of those things, I like this little airport right here, Bragg Case. Sometimes it seems as though we've gone a little bit backwards. Or we're standing still. And what I mean is, well, periodically the controller floats up in front of my face when I'm not holding it. And I know in Microsoft Mixed Reality, which was a thing, until Meta decided that we'll take it from here, guys. If I set this controller down, right now, it is remembering its position. And I'm okay with that. I should be able to dismiss the beam as well. Let's see if I can tap that surface. And that's interesting, because the beam is not going away. But that is an eyesore if the beam is sitting there pointing outwards when not in use. Right? And it might just be because I'm in this mode, in the menu mode, and they figure in the menu you're going to need that beam, so we won't let it dismiss. But what I don't like is that even though it might be sitting here in space and mixed reality, it would stay like that forever until I looked over that way and grabbed it. But in Meta, it seems like once they lose tracking on it, then it'll start floating around in front of your face. It'll be over here, it'll be like that. And I'm like, but it's really sitting right here. You know what I mean? So I would like to see that functionality return to VR, so that I don't have to be guessing where can I put this controller, so I don't have a hand or a controller in my periphery bouncing around when I'm not using it. But anyway, that's just me thinking about the current state of affairs as I wait for things to load. Alright, so we've been doing creative engineering, mapping MIDI controllers to control the simulator. We've been working with the Korg NanoPad 2 MIDI controller. It's got 16 pads and an XY trackpad. I'm not using the trackpad portion, I'm using the 16 buttons arranged in 2 columns of 8 or 2 rows of 8, depending upon which way you have it oriented in your space. I'm using it in a sort of vertical mode, sitting right next to me off to my right. And I am mapping the program, the PFD, the primary flight display, I believe, of the Garmin G1000 digital cockpit display. So we've got autopilot, heading mode, nav mode, approach mode. I'm trying to imagine them going down vertically because I'm going to have to memorize it. There's vertical speed mode, flight level change mode, and I have direct to mode, and I'm looking at column 1 in my mind's eye, and beneath direct to mode there is yet another button that I just can't. Flight plan button. Alright, so we've got column 1. So those are the first 8 buttons. Column 1 of my NanoPad are mapped to the left hand column on the G1000 PFD display. And then in the right column, see if I can quiz my brain, I have the flight director button, followed by the altitude mode button, altitude hold mode button. And then under the altitude hold mode button, I think I might have the, I think there's something in between. There's 2 buttons before I get to back course. And then I think I have nose up and nose down buttons beneath that. And then on the far right side, second column, buttons 7 and 8 are the procedure button and the PFD's menu button. So there's a few buttons on the second column that I don't have memorized. But anyway, the reason why I say I need to memorize is because right here on my right hand side I've got the 2 columns of buttons that map now, because we have made some progress. We do need to test those buttons right now before I get on with correcting any errors we may have made.
Traffic nightbed 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 910, taking off runway 10 departure to the east.
Alright, as you may have heard, I am Nightbat 341 in the skies. That is the call sign. Big Car Tonight comes to you live from the ATX Live Music Capital of the world. And right now we're doing some creative engineering, and we are attaching to the runway. And I'll go ahead and see what happens. I think they're going to set the parking brake. I'm looking down there once we get close, or the airplane could flip over. It has done that in the past. Because I haven't hit the ready to fly button. And then I need to pull out the windows to make sure that I am broadcasting. Alright, I'm waiting to see if they set that park brake. Alright, see, I have not hit the ready to fly button, and they're getting ready to eat up all my runway. I want to see what happens if you sit here and you don't hit ready to fly. It looks like their little cutscene is going to do what? I always like to, when I see automated behavior, I like to let it play itself out. Why? Because then I will forever know what will happen if I don't interact for a while. Do we go down to the beach, into the water, or what? Trying to figure out why one day I found myself in an upside down attitude when I was multitasking after starting the simulator. Alright, so the intelligence, this is probably what happens. Alright, we're going down the beach, through the fence, into the water. Okay, I don't think we're gonna end up upside down. But I'm suspecting if I hit ready to fly rather than ready to sail, I will go back there. Yes, indeed. Alright, so I can tell you right now, it's sunshine. I'm not gonna. This is live weather in real time. January 13th, 2025. Local time looks like it is 6:31 in the AM, and the sun is rising in the east over. I don't believe that is the east. Is that? Where am I? I'm gonna say parts. I find that curious. Looks like the sun is rising over the mountains over there to the right, over the hills. Anyway, I'll get close to weather, or maybe just minimize it in case I do decide I want to make changes. And then I'll take the communication panel and move that up overhead. Alright. The parking brake is set, throttle is pulled back. I'll go ahead and communicate with the towerman. Let's see if button 1 is ready to function. That's usually a startup thing because, well, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring up meta mode and get some eyeballs on the windows because this app was not running anyway, or perhaps it was. I can see that there must be something depressing, something on channel 2 and 9. That sounds like that's coming from my DJ. Interesting. My DJ 200 is sending control signals. If I hit this button, well, I just discovered something. When in record box mode, I just discovered something. My DJ 200 is controlling record box. Normally I keep record box minimized while broadcasting. Why? Well, I'm also using the DJ 200 to control currently air traffic control. So let's see if I minimize record box. And I'll go ahead and pop out the broadcast for now. So we have to keep that in mind, because I just discovered a whole new thing. Alright, let's get the audio out. Alright, maybe I'll move it up higher. Alright, this is my desktop. Now I have to reorder these windows. Which desktop am I currently using? What I like to do is on desktop 1, since we're doing coding, well, at least a form of coding. Alright, that's how I like it while I'm doing this task. Copilot. We have our keyboard shortcuts, which we're mapping, and then we have Visual Studio Code, where we're doing our edits. Alright. Now, that's all fine and dandy. Now, I need to know what keyboard shortcuts are coming out, and I also need to know how many instances of our master controller app here, MIDI key to key, are running. So I'm going to click on that and dismiss everything. Hopefully it comes back. All right. I don't know why that occurs, but we're back. MIDI-KEY. Alright, we currently have one instance running, and we need that instance to be running. And I like to pop out Task Manager for now. And I'll resize it, because all we care about currently is that MIDI key is currently running and only has one instance. Eventually, the goal is to fly without all of these extraneous windows, but we need to see what's going on. Like right now, I can see that on channel 2 and 9, we've got a bunch of data transmission and happening. MIDI commands are going into MIDI key to key, and it is unaware of what to do with those, and it's considering those invalid. And I did not realize. I wonder if you can filter that out. I don't know if we can get that to cease, but that's making me want to quickly check Studio One to make sure that we are seeing the transmissions that we expect to see when I tweak knobs. So I'm going to reach out for the Atom SQ and start tweaking knobs, and I do not see anything happening there, and I do see a lot of noise out here. Quarter frame, I think that's because I am sending system comment. Yes. So if I don't want to see that noise over here, I can turn off system comment and system exclusive MIDI messages. Alright. Now, that did not prevent us from receiving them, we just don't see them happening. So now, I have to go and look. This is background stuff, right? I have to go look at the hardware options for external devices, and I want to look at, well, doubler 2 needs to be running just so I could make use of it if I wanted to, but also so I don't have any yellow warnings on my MIDI device. So doubler 2 icon looks like, I should put it right next door over here. This is doubler 2. Grab it. Nope. I can't move it. Interesting. For now, I'll just select it and go to my presets and then get it in the background. Alright, so I'm going to reconnect. Doubler 2 should connect. Unfortunately, it did not. Alright, I'll sweat that later whenever I need it. I like to keep everything fully functional, like habitually. Let me stop this and restart it. Alright, we don't see any noise on there now, and that's a good thing. I'll go ahead and say okay to this. Alright. And now I will start tweaking knobs. I think I need to change that to be Atom SQ. And this is what I mean by trying to use a controller. I have very much more precise control when I just reach down and grab the mouse. And I think I need to toggle that off. That's just, I don't want to get into what that is, but that sort of like gives you the ability to tweak these virtual knobs with your physical knobs. But currently I do not see anything being received. So let me turn that back on and try again. And the answer is no. So let me make sure the lights are on. The lights are all on. But it's looking like we've got some MIDI device connectivity issues. And the fact that Doubler 2 didn't reset itself when I hit reconnect suggests to me that the MIDI engine is not functioning well. So I'm going to exit and restart Studio One. That's the easiest thing to do when it doesn't appear to be functioning properly. So when Studio One launches, hopefully it'll reconnect all of the MIDI controllers, or it'll rediscover them. They are USB devices, and it will start the MIDI engine, and then it'll receive MIDI inputs from the controllers. And then we should be able to see the MIDI inputs on the MIDI monitor that is provided by Studio One 7 Pro, so that we can at least validate that we are receiving MIDI commands from the physical devices. And then we have a virtual MIDI port provided by Loop MIDI, and I see fail to open Atom, fail to, so that's what I mean. I'm not sure that I trust that, but it didn't give me any reconnect notice options, so maybe it recovered from the initial failures. But let's go look at the devices again. So Studio One, options, and this time Doubler 2 has been detected, and there are no exclamation points, so we'll just say okay. It looks like we are not getting extraneous signals, but if I turn on system comment, yep, even the DDJ200 is not spewing the console or the MIDI monitor. Alright, so MIDI key to key. I'll stop it and restart all the listeners for all of the channels. All 16 channels are ready to receive input. Alright, and keep an eye on both windows. We'll be able to see, hopefully, if I hit a MIDI key, on and off message, and the answer to that is resounding no. Nobody's receiving MIDI messages. Tweak a knob, nothing. It's like dead in the water. Alright, so the next thing I will do is I'm going to unplug my MIDI. I have a hub that I plug basically all my MIDI devices into. So I just disconnected it, and let me unpower the other ones and power them back. Alright, now I see no ons. I will clear my console. Hello? Alright. Record box just went silent. Let's launch that back open. So this is the juggling you have to do to get this solution to either be viable. Alright. Testing. I hear me, but I don't see music on out 3-4. Music is being provided by Record Box, and I don't even see. Oh, there it is. Record Box is making a complaint. The device was removed while Record Box was accessing it. The database in the device might be damaged. That's fine. Okay. I just want you to continue playing the sounds. Alright, and they brought the audio down, but now we're good. Okay, so Record Box is doing Record Box. Now, MIDI controllers. I got a note on and off, and it was transmitted. Okay, now tweak the knob. Alright, so the knobs are being received by Studio One, but they are not being transmitted out to our MIDI port. So what I'm going to do is change this. First, just toggle that off and tweak the knob. Whoops, that's the DJ, so I know it's working. Adam SQ is still not outputting the knob twists, although I can see, yeah, the knob turns are not going out and they're not even registering up here. So if I switch this to Adam SQ, and then tweak it on, now I can see that it's going out to the key-to-key loop MIDI port. Alright, and they are turning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, turn the knobs. Good, because the goal here is to tweak these knobs and control the aircraft at some point. Radio frequencies, desired altitude, heading, that sort of thing. Alright, and then we have the Atom controller. And I'm going to go ahead and switch the Atom's knobs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Check. Now, I don't know what knob Control 34 is, but let me start wiggling this. That one looks like it's double mapped. That one looks like it's not mapped to anything at all yet. So some of these have to be unmapped. That's on my DDJ 200. I'm trying to turn them all to the right. Alright. And that'll be a subject for another broadcast, because that'll give me an opportunity to explain the process of connecting these knobs to this virtual device display and unmapping them, like when you have undesired situation like this knob is controlling 2, control 47, and control 15. I don't want 2 things to move with 1 knob. But we can see that they are being output to our virtual instruments key-to-key loop MIDI port. So we're using 2 utility programs, Loop MIDI, and we are also using MIDI key-to-key. And MIDI key-to-key is listening on that key-to-key loop MIDI port. And the MIDI monitor from Studio One is showing me that sending output to it. So this guy's listening to that But where did the port come into existence in the first place? Well, we have a little utility that runs in the background, and I wish we could have that on all monitors, but we cannot, apparently. Can I get this? This is another case where the mouse works better. Grab that corner. I can't. Why? Mouse lock is on this simulator window. Alright, so what do I do to get rid of mouse lock? Click on another window, grab the mouse, and be careful not to get it into the client area so it doesn't get captured. So I can scale that, and I just dropped myself into oblivion. Alright, click off of there, get the mouse back, get the window title bar. And that's why I like Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oops. Damn, as soon as I release, it goes right back into the client area. Alright, where's the mouse? I need to be able to see it at least. There. I want it on the screen. And as soon as I release the mouse, it goes back into the client area. That's some weird stuff. Alright, I grabbed it. There you go. That's as small as I can make Microsoft Flight Simulator. The Quest casting app, I do not believe I have the ability to control its size, and mouse has been captured. This is the stuff that the reason why this whole solution came about is because of mouse capture. So I wanted to be able to focus. Let's go ahead and test it. Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm going to step on my sustain pedal, and the window title bar should turn blue. And it is not functioning. Okay, then we get the signal. We did get my controller sustain pedal on off signals. So that is a weird thing where you have to like click on another window, move something, click another window, and then eventually, once it works that first time, it pretty much works every time. But it's not functioning right now. Alright, so I'll give it focus, and then I'll step. I don't toggle focus, I only give it focus, because that's pretty much what I want to do every time it does not have focus. I might discover that I have to be in game mode, but the window's not pinned, so let me pin them so they come with me into game mode, because I need to at least see my broadcast and my audio. And since I am working in game mode as an office, all my displays, windows need to be pinned so I can bring them into the cockpit in flight sim mode. So let's make sure they're all pinned. Alright, they are all pinned. And that is good. Alright. This just needs to be around so I know that's bigger than it was yesterday. Same here. Alright. Did I pin? Yes, I did. Alright, Task Manager's pin, and this is the app that we're working with. And these are my two desktops. Alright, the other thing is that I do not need to see the VR menu, because that menu is my throttle. Over here is the button for that. Because it'll pick the window back there when you're pointing out a window in the foreground, and you'll be able to click it. So I turn that off to avoid that. Alright. So, this is the main reason why this whole solution began. Foregrounding Microsoft Flight Simulator so I can type and give it, keyboard input. because right now, whatever has keyboard focus, I don't know if it's, well, here, right now I know it's Studio One, right? They're going to receive any keyboard inputs. So Microsoft Flight Simulator, if I needed to do a search, in a text field, or, maybe I'm trying to bring up a waypoint for a flight plan, or choose an airport, whatever that requires keyboard input, I often find myself trying to do that and unable to actually, achieve it. So then I was like, oh man, I have to keep clicking this window to give it focus like that. And then I can do whatever it is that I'm trying to do. So I was like, man, MIDI controller, sustain pedal. Because I was like, is there a way, I can have a button outside that just always gives it focus? And then I was like, well, if I could do that, can I, toggle on these name tags floating around out there when I don't want to see them? Or can I, control the airplane? And then I was like, yeah, I can do that with MIDI controllers. Are there any apps to help me do that? Yeah, Loop MIDI, right? So I'm like, oh, where's Loop MIDI? Well, I got this Fetch 3 window. It's in the way of my taskbar. And then I'm like, well, can I resize it? And I wish Zuckerberg would let us resize the casting app and even pin it, but apparently the answer to that is no. But I can minimize the hub, and now I can see my taskbar. So Loop MIDI is down here in this system tray. And it'll make you do a little dance to foreground it, the client. But in here, you just, you type in a name down here, Loop MIDI port, give it a name like we did, key to key, Loop MIDI port. And it shows you the data that it receives as you hit the buttons. So like if I step on that pedal, I should see that 637748 changes. So where's the pedal? I'm hunting. There it is. It was 6 bytes. 6 more bytes. So I stepped on it again. So I created a virtual MIDI port. So whenever Studio One sends data out to key Loop MIDI port, it records it here in the MIDI monitor. And I can see the MIDI command. And it's a message B34000 don't care on how hard you hit the pedal. The last byte is a number typically or always ranging from 0 to 127, 7.5 being 127 in hexadecimal. And B3 is the command. And it looks like they came in on channel 4. MIDI channels begin with 4, the second nibble in the first, most significant byte of the MIDI control command. The first significant being Baker is the controller, apparently sustain pedal on off signal. And then 40 is apparently which one. I suspect you can have multiple control pedals sustain. But anyway, you can look it up, it's in the MIDI spec. I don't want to go down that road too deeply because I don't need to. I remember as much as I need to. But the main thing is that second nibble, that 3, B3, tells me I'm on MIDI channel 4, and that would tell me that that's my oxygen probe meaning, because I just happen to know it. Okay. Now, I'll worry about all those details later, but it's coming out of MIDI monitor, right? Because my MIDI devices have been detected by Studio One, and Studio One, when you open the MIDI monitor, it shows you everything coming, any MIDI messages going through your system. Now, it sends them, so typically, your MIDI device can only serve one application at a time. So they made a utility, the industry, someone out there called MIDI, that says, hey, we'll let you create virtual MIDI ports so you can route those MIDI signals to a virtual MIDI port that any other app can listen to. And that's the magic that makes this whole solution possible. Okay, so we created the virtual MIDI port. Obviously, we can see that it receives the data. And now all we have to do is have another application that will take action, right? By tuning into that virtual MIDI port, right? Or virtual MIDI device, MIDI port. And whenever it sees these things, you can double click on them. And you can, sorry, I forgot, that's just like you can, this window popped open when I double click on the line. You can generate a PC keyboard action, or you can start a program, or you can send a MIDI somewhere else, or you can use it with train sims. So the author of MIDI KDP apparently customized it so that it could control his train simulator or your train simulator. I don't use that feature. I don't even use send MIDI, and I bet you this is like, you can do a translation. Like, okay, this is what I want to do if I see that. And what I find interesting is unfortunate. I'm still trying to figure out if there's a way for me to create some rules in here so that I could generate specific MIDIs from my knobs, but I don't think this will do it either. Because I want a knob to be able to increase or decrease. So I was thinking, hey, if I receive a knob with a particular value, I guess I could, but it'd take a long time. Why? Because I'm thinking, if let's say I got that control signal from my knob, and I said that everything from, 64 to 127 is an increase, and everything from 63 below is a decrease, right? And I managed to put the data in here to achieve that. I'd have to do, for every knob, I'd have to do 128 inputs here. But if I could do it greater than, less than, I could, do 2. Note on, the data 1, 3 Charlie, the key is C3. Data 2, I think that's the velocity value. And that's what I would have to do, 63, 64, 65, like, and then what do you want to generate when you receive that? Oh, what I want to, well, I obviously want to generate the 3 Charlie and the key is C3 on MIDI channel 1. Clear all, remove last, add, test MIDI, launchpad, archive. Yeah. I might find a way to finagle that section into doing what I want, but we'll see. But you can start a program, and you can give it the working directory, you get command line arguments to your program, and we've been using that to launch programs on our desktop that was several broadcasts ago as well. Today we're on night 2 of actually doing the autopilot. And then the other thing you can do is you can just output keyboard shortcuts. If I type in the blue box, the keyboard, shortcut, it'll output that whenever it receives my MIDI inputs. So that's the 2 programs, Loop MIDI and MIDI KDP. Alright, so that's the setup for anybody who just happens into this crazy broadcast somewhere in the middle. That takes about 10 minutes to explain every time, right? Alright, but I probably should be able to do it in my sleep after a while, right? Okay, so using that as baseline, what was I doing? I was making sure that we had our controller inputs, and we do. and it looks like we're stable enough to get back on the road, and if I've forgotten to do something, well, it'll occur to me when I need it. So let's get back to Presonus Studio Code. That's where we're going to be working. We've got Copilot to help us, and for some reason, the virtual keyboard came back. So I must have something that the virtual reality keyboard menu is back out there. So let me go to my throttle, find the toggle switch, turn that off. Alright. Not reset my view, but I do want to, let's make sure we're centered in meta and recenter in the cockpit. Alright. Now, I'm going to get to the beam, click on my yoke, disappear it. I'm going to click on the parking brake. Alright, I'll go ahead and disappear that yoke too. I don't really need it. And then, give it full throttle. And let's see if I can tune traffic or something. Well, I need to go get up off the ground and reach for the button. I heard the click, but I did not get any response in the user interface. So let's active pause and think about that. What happened? I'm giving it MIDI inputs similar to giving it keyboard inputs because clicking on that MIDI button sent the signal into my situation, and I know that note on E0 velocity, don't care really. A 127 is a full pressure, full velocity, but since it's a binary button, it's either 0 or 127. Note off is apparently assigned the velocity of 0, and note on is a full velocity, but we're not taking velocity into account anyway because we're using that as a don't care, that lower order byte. But what do we see on channel 8? We received, and that's how the DDJ200 communicates to Studio One when you hit those buttons. It sends it out on channel 8, channel 08, and it gives the command 9-7. Anything that's a 9-7 is a note on channel 8. The channels begin with 0 and end with 15, which is an F in hexadecimal, but a 9, the first nibble of the most significant byte, is a note on. 8 is a note off. So we got an 87 and a 97, a note on and a note off on channel 8. Check. And then we have the data bytes, right? We have a 04 and a 00 or a 7F. The 04, that would tell you what note we're talking about, and apparently a 04 is a E0, the note E in the 0 octave. I don't even think people could sing that low, but in the MIDI spec, I believe we begin counting with, it depends on what implementation you're looking at, but it's usually either a -1 or a 0 is the lower octave. I'm not sure if I saw a -2 octave, but I don't know, middle C is what, C4? So we're 5 octaves below that, and the note is E. So just getting used to reading MIDI, it's like he's reading MIDI in hexadecimal, right? But if you're going to be trying to repurpose MIDI controllers or a bunch of them, you need to be able to read that so you know what channel you're looking at, what note that you're hitting, because we're going to map actions to that, right? And we've already done that. We get ready to test our actions. But we did not receive the MIDI input. We didn't take an action. But we know that the action made it all the way over here to MIDI key to key, right? So I think the first thing we could do is we could click on that, go back to meta mode, click on this window to get it up on our desktop. Alright, it's up on my desktop. I don't want to switch to this desktop view whenever I click on this window, so I'm going to take liberty right now to go ahead and go to multi-view mode here and move this over to desktop 1 where my coding is happening. Alright, so now we're over here. Alright, we have to click on this drop down in order to see what we have mapped so far. Alright, so last night we did all of that stuff from column 1, button 1, column 1, button 8, and then we did column 2, button 1 through column 2, button 8. Right? And so those are just labels that we use for ourselves. But Autopilot Master, for example, look, edit. In order to toggle that autopilot button in Microsoft Flight Simulator, we need to hit the Control key plus the number 1. So Control D1. In this language of MIDI key to key, numerical buttons 0 through 9 are D0 through D9. So Control plus D1 means you hit the Control and then 1 key on your keyboard. And then I gave them descriptive names so I would know at a glance that that's coming from my chord controller. It's column 1, button 1. So my upper left button in column 1. And MIDI key to key, thankfully, tells us that's a note on C3 with the particular velocity that you used. And I didn't want to lose information, so I left that there. But primarily I'm concerned with column 1, button 1, and what command does it execute. So I'll go ahead and shift us over to the right. And that is toggle autopilot master. And then in parentheses, I use the button AP. So if I look down below, that would be column 1 is the AP, the autopilot button. So that's button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. And then on the right column, light director, altitude, vertical nav, backwards, nose up, nose down, menu, and proc. So 16 buttons in this right here down below. Nanopad 2. But we're not getting any input. So what does that mean? We probably don't have focus on Microsoft Flight Simulator. How could we know? Well, I probably need to pop it out, so we'll go back to meta mode. We'll cancel out of here, I don't want to make any changes yet to anything. And then I want Flight Simulator. And lo and behold, it now is focused. I'm going to pop it out so I can keep an eye on it for when it does and does not have focus. Right in front of my face. Now, I want to be able to get back to work, so I'm going to keep this view open, and we do want to keep an eye on that window. Alright, now let's go ahead and pin Microsoft Flight Simulator, since we need to keep an eye on its focused state until we come up with hopefully some permanent solution for that. I don't want to write any kind of a process that periodically checks and, you know, like a shell script that foregrounds that window for us. because if you're working on other windows and it starts changing focus, it'll be acting like a virus. Okay, so now I want to step on this button, and I should be able to see it focus. That window title should turn blue, and we should also see our note on, note off combo. And there, we just gave it focus. I stepped on the sustain pedal, and that was the control hold pedal. Value 0 was off, so, and control hold pedal value 127 was on. So we got the on before the off. So it's writing the most recent actions on the top. So the most recent thing it received was the off after the on. Anyway, we have focus. So now, theoretically, I should be able to tune approach by hitting button 1 on the DDJ200, which I did last week. So let's see if that works. I'm looking up top. I hit the button, and it worked. And then I can request flight following.
Approach Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 is type Cessna Skyhawk, 1 miles east of Sierra Bravo Hotel, 200 feet. Request flight following.
And they took away the options.
341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 approach. Squawk 0656.
Alright, and acknowledge.
Squawk 0656 Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10.
So there are,
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 radar contact 1 miles east of Sierra Bravo Hotel, 200 feet QH 1017.
acknowledge.
Roger Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10.
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 traffic is 9 o'clock 2 miles at 1,100 feet generic.
9 o'clock, 2 miles. Somebody's coming in. Alright, so I should be able to.
Speed 101 is type generic 2 miles northeast of Tango, Foxtrot, Juliet 1,200 feet. Request flight.
I see them. Right there, GPD 101.
Speed 101 approach. Squawk 011 tree.
Let me watch them come in.
Stall.
Are you landing? Or are you just flying by?
Good speed 101.
There
Good
it
speed
is.
101 radar contact 1 miles northwest of Tango, Foxtrot, Juliet 1,500 feet QH 1017.
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10. Have a generic insight. Roger, good speed 101. Good speed 101, have the generic in sight.
Is good speed 101 on approach or what?
Speed 101 traffic is 6 o'clock 1 miles at 900 foot Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
I'm on his tail, so he's going away from me. 6 o'clock. What's he got to look over his shoulder?
01, have the traffic.
Good speed 101 contact Juliana approach on 119er. 7. Good day.
Alright, anyway, we gotta follow our flight plan here. So we know that our GDJ200 controller,
341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at 1,000 feet generic.
I don't see anybody yet. Oh yes, I see them right there, that's 1 o'clock. I got my clock.
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 traffic in sight.
KES 300A.
119er, 7 good speed 101.
I have the flight assistant on, so I'm not hitting every button every time they talk to me. When you're near the airport, it gets kind of chatty, especially if people are awake and there's traffic out there, or if the AI is generating traffic because of historical traffic, air traffic patterns. They generate AI traffic to make it a simulator that's alive. Okay, so I'm kind of tired of talking to the air traffic control, but I would like,
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7 Niner 10 traffic alert. 2 o'clock less than 1 mile 800 feet generic. Report them in sight.
Night bat 341 Kilo
Okay,
Papa.
so I'm just gonna talk over them because they're not gonna stop talking. So, yeah. The next thing is testing all of the autopilot buttons. So we did the air traffic control buttons last week. Now, over here on the Korg, I want to engage autopilot mode. And button 1 is autopilot, the kick drum. And now it just came on, AP. But I want to enter nav mode, which is button 3. And now we're in GPS mode, but we have not really intercepted the course yet. So I don't know if it's smart. It looks like it's trying to make itself over onto the course, which is good. So the flight director is the pink chevron with the yellow one in between. So the yellow one is following the pink one, which means that the autopilot is following the flight director, but apparently we need to be banking right, and we are apparently not. So we're in roll mode. So I'm going to, whoops, I hate when I do that shit. Get back in the cockpit. Alright. I'm going to switch to heading mode. See, this is what I used to have to do. Go grab the controller and hit for these buttons. But the second button should be heading. Right? So if I go and find the second button, I should be switching. And then they say, well, you switch to heading mode. Are you going to go into the mountain? I'm going to let it do whatever it's not going to make it. I just trip wheeled up. Alright. It probably went into heading mode and it detected, hey, I'm near the GPS course. So I'm going to do you a favor and pitch for Earth. Why? Because it's in pitch hold mode. So I find that very interesting. So I'm gonna increase my reference altitude. Something high, but not too high. And then I'm in altitude mode, so let's say 1,500 feet. We'll be happy with that. So now he's fighting to capture 1,500 feet. Or nope, he's locked on at 600 feet because that's where it was when I toggled. So now I'm gonna go into. We can try flight level change, which is button 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I don't know that I hit flight level change, so that one might be broken. Yeah, I don't see FLC. So we gotta look at flight level change. What about vertical speed? Alright, we did go to vertical speed mode, but now we need to nose up. 300 feet per minute. 400, 500 feet per minute climb. Alright. Now, I'm expecting us to be climbing right now, but it's looking like our engine just went off.
Stall.
Active pause.
Stall.
Now, apparently, I have a key that might be multi-mapped to something else, like overloading, or I hit a button that shut our engine off.
Stall.
So, I think my controller has a button to restart all engines. Alright.
Stall. 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 Stall.
Alright, I just pulled autopilot off. I want to go and give us some time to follow the flight plan again, so I can go through these buttons. Check the trim wheel because I'm pushing way forward in order to lower the nose. Alright, I'm pulling throttle back. I don't want to over speed. So I'm using the propeller as a brake, but you can see our speed is increasing. I don't want to get into the candy cane danger zone. Like, I think our cruising speed in this aircraft is, and that's why I want to get this button mapped. Our glide speed is 68 knots. VX 62, VR rotates speed 55, VY is 74. They don't really tell you the cruise speed, but they do tell you the glide speed. Like if you had the engine cut off, pitch for 68 knots to give yourself maximum time gliding in the air, so you can find a road to land on. But yeah, right now I'm pitching for Earth to get us back down. We're up here in nosebleed territory, 3,000 feet. No, I'm joking about that, but I don't want to be 3,000 feet up. I'm shooting for 1,500. I want to kind of fly low. Alright. Start pitching up. Gradually. I don't want to be going so fast that we can't make that. I can't lower the flaps until that white bar shows. Alright, now I'm going to pitch. Drop airspeed by climbing. You see that white bar coming up? That's when it hits the yellow mark, we can lower flaps if we want to continue to slow down. But we don't need to. So I won't. But now we're in flap range. Alright, so I'm going to give it throttle again. Full throttle as if we are taking off, because we got to climb up over this little hill. And now we're going to engage autopilot. Probably dangerous to do it right here. Whoops. Alright. Where's the autopilot button? Right here. Autopilot. Nav mode. Now I want to see what it does. It's in heading mode right now. And GPS is armed. So I assume we should turn out of heading mode and go into GPS mode automatically. GPS is armed because we got that white GPS, and that's turned on when I hit the nav button. So we're in autopilot, heading hold, altitude hold mode currently. We have a target altitude of 1,500 feet. We're climbing towards it at a vertical speed of 500 or 450 now, feet per minute, 500 plus or minus. When we intercept that course, and this is the thing that gets me. This thing is indicating that the course is off to my left, and if I look over there, indeed the course is off to our left, and we're already going across the course, so we're not going to intercept it, automatically switch it to GPS mode. We're going to fly off course. So that's when you grab and turn the heading dial, since we're in heading mode, and say, hey, intercept that course. And then when you get there, I'm expecting to see it switch from heading mode into GPS nav mode proper. So let's see what happens. Otherwise, it won't be doing its job. And what I find interesting, that those indicators out there, I might as well just turn those off because they don't agree with our avionics. That pink line is off to our left. And those pink boxes, which we typically fly through when we're on course, are off to our left. But our little teal heady bug,
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910. Have a generic insight.
our little teal heady bug is cutting across the pink line. So we're flying towards the teal marker. So that pink line ought to start coming close together. We can make it happen faster if I change the heading button a little bit more to the left.
1 miles northeast of Tango Foxtrot, Foxtrot Juliet, 600 feet. Request flight following.
Good speed 101.
And then we should automatically
5216.
switch from heading mode into navigation hold mode. So we'll start flying through those pink boxes. And you can see the flight director chevron is banking into those boxes. And our current heading or attitude indicator chevron
good speed 101.
is nestled right up inside that little pink chevron, nicely taking us into those pink boxes. This line is coming together, and we are on the line, and GPS mode has been activated,
Good speed 101.
so we are good to go. And if you look at this avionics, we can see that we're on the pink line, that little circle,
01 traffic is 7 o'clock 4 miles at 800 feet generic.
and we are at 1,500 feet because we captured our altitude while we were focused on getting on course. So I'm pulling the throttle out a little bit because I don't want to get there too fast. I want to have some testing time. So we should see our airspeed begin to drop, but our altitude should stay around 1,500. Alright, and that green zone is like our good cruising RPMs, so we're at the bottom end of it, 2,040 RPM. I like to keep it around 2,100, but I'm trying to go as slow as I can. Alright, looking at the wind, we have an 11 knot crosswind blowing from our right to our left, coming from 056 degrees. Alright, and we're headed towards St. Martin, Princess Junior. I just set my foot off the rudder pedal, and I jostled us a little bit. But now we can hit some buttons. I gotta do it quick because we're messing with the autopilot while we're relying on it. So, here is the autopilot on off. Disengage, check, and back on. So I know that button is functional and it works properly. Now, if I say heading, we should start trying to go left,
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 79.
but I don't want to get off course, so I went back to roll, but now I gotta hit nav. So I now know that the first 3 buttons are working.
Traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at 1,600 foot Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
So far so good. We got 3 of 16 buttons mapped properly. The next button down is
Generic 590. Have a Cessna Skyhawk in sight.
approach mode. So we're gonna go and see what happens. We should get approach mode. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. I believe approach mode should function even here. We'll worry about that one next. Alright, so approach mode button is not doing what I expect. Vertical speed button, I just relied on it. And that was good. Increase vertical speed. Alright. Now let's try vertical speed and decrease. And that worked. And we're toggling back into altitude hold mode automatically because we're already at the altitude that we plugged in. But if I want to increase that, I'll go ahead and use that. I have that mapped up to my HOTAS. And we will say we want to go to 2,000 feet. And now I'm going to enter vertical speed mode. And nose, whoops, that's down. Nose up, 200 feet per minute. Alright, let's go steeper, 500 feet per minute, 700 feet per minute. Now, that little pink indicator gives us our predicted airspeed. I forget how many seconds it's in the future, but we certainly don't want that to get anywhere near a stall. And it's still growing, getting dangerous. I think I might bring the nose down, and that's why you want to know where the buttons are. Nose down is like button 6, right? 1, 2, 6. Alright. We are approaching the above altitude 2,000. 53 knots. That was dangerous. But anyway, we know that those buttons work. Now, we want to get back down, so I'm going to bug 1500 again. Alright, 1500 is the desired altitude. Let's see if flight level change works. No. Right? Or yes or no? Well, if it were going to work, I would expect to see FLC, but I don't. I see GPS, autopilot out. I have 1500 bugs. It says that it's attempting to reach. I see caution lights. I think I did it again. I cut the engine.
Stall.
Yep.
Stall.
So I think I have a
Stall.
mismapping.
Stall. 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 Stall.
Full throttle. I'll let it go here.
Stall. Stall.
Let's see. Like the plane, I wouldn't trust autopilot.
Stall.
Not like that.
Stall. Stall.
Is he getting ready to drop the wing completely?
Stall. Stall.
It's not smart enough. I think because the last altitude.
300, descend and maintain 2,000 feet.
Alright, now what I want to do is vertical speed works. I think I have some kind of issue.
2,000 foot French West 300.
Like I gotta memorize the location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's supposed to be vertical speed right there. But look, we lost focus. You see that? I just stepped on the button to regain focus. Alright, now I gotta figure out how we lost focus. But anyway, we have focus, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should put me in vertical speed mode. And then I need to nose it down. And we should capture 1,500 feet. So I gotta figure out which button is the culprit for shutting our engine off. You certainly want that not to be a thing. Alright, so which buttons failed? Flight level change does not work. I didn't see approach mode work. Flight director, I think I broke that. But this is just a matter of getting the right keyboard shortcuts into the data. Like all the hard work was done yesterday. Vertical nav, I don't think that's working good. Now, I'm suspecting we are still thinking we're on the GPS, but we're going off over here. Right? So, my heading bug, let's make a right-hander. So we want to switch in the heading mode button, which is the second button down. But I think I might want to change the heading first.
Stall.
And I'll give it full throttle. I want to see if we can stave off the stall.
Stall.
I don't think we would get there. It's like, you would hope that autopilot wouldn't put you into that situation. I think we're safe again.
French West 300, you are 700 feet below your assigned altitude.
But we need to move the heading bug.
QNH 1016.
So I'm going to move that heading bug
2,000 foot French West, tree
to my right. And say, please turn around. Alright, so now I need to switch to heading mode. That's the second button down. And then I'm going to arm nav mode. Nope. It's go back to heading. It's a bit confused as to which direction to go. I want to make it more obvious to them by trying to find the course. I think we're not going right enough. Alright, let's see if that'll do it. Now try turning that on. Like they seem to be a bit confused. Let's see what happens. As that line comes together.
1 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at 300 feet generic.
Because my desired track was not really 330.
341 Kilo
It's
Papa
that airport right there in front of me.
910 traffic in sight.
French West 300 traffic is 1 o'clock 3 miles at 1,400 foot Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
And is it going to switch over? No. Alright, so we're broke on that. Okay, that's cool. It's a test flight. Let's see what happens if we hit slew mode.
Tower Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 2 miles northwest 1200. For to land.
And head towards
341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 Tower. QNH 1017 make straight in runway 12.
This is Juliana, which means where we came from is out this way. Back to the lab and take it from the top.
341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910, did you copy?
500.
I don't have focus. Step on the button. Acknowledge. Did I get it? I should be acknowledged right now.
Fly straight in runway 12 night bat, 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910.
What's the wind doing? Alright, now. Let's see, cancel landing intentions.
Tower night bat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910. Cancel landing intention.
Okay, so now.
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910, your cancellation is received.
Alright, now. Nearest airport.
101 have a traffic.
Alright, I'm trying to go to Grand Case.
Squawk 4671 status Alpha 20901.
Status Alpha 20901, radar contact 2 miles east of Sierra Bravo Hotel 600 feet, QNH 1017.
Grand Case.
Tower night bat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910, 8 miles southeast 800 feet to land.
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 tower. QNH 1017, enter left traffic runway 12.
Make left downwind runway 12 night bat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910.
Alright, we're gonna see if we can get this thing on course. I'm following the flight director because he's trying to lead me to my pink line, right? Now, I can see why people want the heading sync button, but I'm gonna go ahead and move the bug to where we're flying right now. Right there. And now I'm going to hit the autopilot. Oops, wrong one. Over here. Autopilot mode. Heading mode. And then I'm going to on GPS. Nav mode. It should think. Now I'm at 1,500 feet. And under autopilot control. Okay, so which buttons did I not get to yet? Menu? I didn't do that yet. Direct to and flight plan, right? So I'm gonna hit flight plan. Alright, that button is functional. We're flying to runway 12. Now, I don't have the procedure button mapped, and that might be why we were unable to select an approach. Enter. Visual 12, enter. And I'm gonna say straight. Enter. Minimums. Enter. Out of 200. Enter. Load. Enter. Obstacle clears not provided. Enter. here. Like, looks like this gate over here. Okay. Now. On that approach, I probably should have switched over. Made a mistake. Alright, we're gonna do that again, but why? Because I need to do like an ILS or a VNAV approach, or RNAV, excuse me, RNAV plus V. RNAV approach into Princess Juliana. Apparently, Grand Case doesn't offer that feature. Let's double check. Hit procedure button. And then we need to select an approach. Enter. They only have two, visual 1, 2, and visual 3, 0. So, yeah. How do you cancel out? Hit the procedure button again. Alright, and then menu button. That's the other one. Alright, so what do we discover? Our flight plan button works, right? So the second but last, what do they call it? I forget. Something like that. That's how the Indians used to say that idea. Last but one, something like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit button 7, and that should be flight plan. I'm gonna direct to. Check. Now, the good thing about that is that since we're in button testing mode, we're going to see if we can change our mind and put in T and CM. So now, this is where I gotta get those knobs mapped, and I'm concerned with how I'm gonna get that done. Let me see if I can get rid of the beam. And this is why I wanted to use my MIDI controllers for all this. T is knob twisting. T. Next. Next. Up. See what I'm saying? Big muscle movements, trying to do something very fine, and you're in the air. Like, and. Next. C. Next. M. Whoops. I already see that this is probably not the way I would want to do this either. Enter. Activate. Now, I want to change that. I should be up high enough. I want to go to procedures for this airport now. And I want to select an approach.
CalAt Elsker 0 contact San Juan Center on 12865. Good day.
Enter. And I want to do a RNAV GPS 10. Enter. And I want to do it.
Going to 12865 CalAt Elsker 0.
I don't know. I know map on Gouda. Let's do Gouda.
Night cargo 1104, hold position, caution, other traffic.
I'm pretty sure it's Gouda. This is the waypoint. Enter. Minimums.
Hold position, night cargo
Enter.
104.
And I want to load it, enter. And now I want to go to Avaki. Oh shit. Clear. Go back to back.
Windward tree 26, hold position. Caution the generic on the taxiway. Windward tree 26, continue taxi.
Select approach, enter. Alright, now enter, Gouda, enter. Minimums.
Roger, Windward tree
Let's
26.
see if we can just go activate. Enter. We go into Gouda, then Avaki, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to go to flight plan over here.
Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 wind 054 at tree. Cleared touch and go left traffic runway 12.
I'd like to get out of this mode right here.
Cleared for touch and go runway 12 Nightbat 341 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910.
Alright, we got 34 nautical miles. I gave myself some time. But, let me pull back a little bit on the throttle. We're getting hot. 27, maybe 25. Okay. Which way is the wind? Wind's out of back, so we should be good. Alright. Why? Because if I'm at 25 right now and the wind's at my back, I'm a little bit above the cruise green zone on RPM. I don't think I'll ever hit a situation where I end up in the red. Right? Why? Because I have the best case scenario, the wind's at my back. And I'm doing 2,500. So if the wind starts going in front of my face, I'm going to go down towards 23, 22, right? And I got a whole lot of green zones, so my mind is kind of like off RPM management for a while. But we're got an 8 knot, 7 knot, it's gusting up to maybe 10 knots. I don't think I'm gonna have any seriously unexpected wind out here. Alright, weather's clear. We're good.
Uniform, leaving my airspace free. Roger 9 cargo.
Now I'm trying to figure out how to get off this page menu for map settings. That seems like I want to be on the menu button. Good. And we're on this pink line going out here, and we got to turn around, come to Avaki, lesser map, or missed approach point, to land on runway 10. So we're going out to turn around and come back. But that gives me a chance to check a couple more buttons. So, direct to button, right? First thing I want to do is turn flight plan off. So that should be a toggle button. So that's the last button over here. And it's correct. And this is direct to. Check. And we're direct to Gouda waypoint. Gouda. This is one that I really want to be able to map, but I don't think we're gonna. I don't think they made it possible. Like, did they? I'm trying to pan. Alright, how about if I try to rotate the range? How far do we go? Gouda's way out there. Alright, so I'm going to slew us towards Gouda. We're on the line. I'm not waiting that long. You can believe it. Alright, let's get out there. Slew's not working. What? What did I just do? I just released it? my propeller still going? And we just lost altitude. But we were trying to get back up to it. But again, the sluice started. You see that? Alright, here we go. I don't know how far we're going. I don't feel like I went 34 miles. Let's let it go. Alright, we got 10 nautical miles. We're still in GPS mode, trying to capture those boxes. We got 8 nautical miles before we gotta make that turn. I'll let it settle back down so I can think what buttons succeeded so far. Autopilot, check. Heading, check. Nav, check. Approach, I don't know. Vertical speed, check. Flight level change, definitely not. Direct to and flight band, check, check. So how many buttons are suspect right now? Flight level change and approach. What button do I want to test next? Approach mode. When? Once we turn around and we're basically approach. When we're on our approach procedure or arrival. Okay, so now that was a question in my head. So direct to, I don't want anymore. That should be a toggle button. And direct to is button 7 is off. Okay, so now I want to go back to procedures. I don't have a button for that yet. I got that column today. Procedure. And I also have to do this dial thing. That's why I want to do my knobs. So can I, and it's the outer button to navigate that menu. Now I want to say select arrival and hit enter. Why? It's telling me that I gotta select Aluba, Donde, Elopo, or Gouda, and we're 4 miles out. I know it's Gouda, so I shouldn't be breaking anything. And then it says, do you want to runway 10, transition Gouda, arrival ULUBA1. I'm going to say load. That's the only option. Why? Because I never used the arrival button. So I want to use it now while I'm doing all this. Enter. And it says, okay, you're in Gouda. And then Elora and Aruba. What? So I might have just changed it up. Look. Shit just got nasty looking. What are we doing in the air? Changing our mind. We're going from Gouda to Elora. Alright, so now let's scroll around this thing to see what is going to be. Now, if you make a mistake, clear. Clear twice. I needed the outer knob. Gouda, Elora, Gouda, oops, Gouda, Vaki, Lesser, map on, hold, destination, Gouda, Elora, Aluba, runway. Alright, so now here's the question. I see where we are. I see where we're headed. We're headed to Elora, right? Alright, so let's move around there. So now, on the autopilot buttons, I want to see, can I activate approach mode right now? I'm surprised that we're flying and we're not flying towards. That waypoint per se. I'm gonna try to help it just in case. See if I can get me on course. So I'm gonna switch to heading. And then I'm going to activate nav. And that should get us back on track. And then it wants me to activate leg, but I'm not sure what leg we're talking about. Let me enter and see if I pay some wild price. TNCM to Gouda. Nah, that's not what I want to activate. I want to cancel that. Yeah, I'm still trying to get to Elora. But what I do want to activate is approach mode, which is button 4. So I'll know if that button is working. Where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for speed. I'm not sending signals anymore. What? Yes, I am. Alright, so we should switch to GPS any moment. Alright, so approach mode is not functioning, right? (922A) F#3. Alright. How about if I hit F3? I'm trusting that this plane's not gonna kill us. Alright, so we should be going to Elora. 0.4 nautical miles. They should activate the next leg. But, okay, they just did. Good. Alright. I don't know what I did to cause that to come back. It's gone. Alright. Aluba. What happens after Aluba? Why can't I get? I lost focus. Still in focus. Okay. I can't hit this. That's why I'm tired of dealing with that guessing games. Like it's it's enough. Try to follow a flight plan and make sure you got everything figured to land and all that shit. And then you get all that tension from freaking, why is this button not depressing? What's going on? Right? You're like, oh fuck, I don't know. Then they say, well, because your controller has somehow gripped onto the communication menu, you gotta let that go. And now, oh no, how do I let it go? What button do I hit? They're like, I don't know, it's sticky. I'm like, yeah, I can see, but I don't want that. They're like, yeah, you're still gripping it. I'm like, really? What do I need to do to release? Pretend you want to take the no, you're still gripping it. I'm like, what the fuck, Microsoft? I gotta hit some buttons right now. I'm running out of time. They're like, no matter what you do, you're gripping. I'm double clicking. I'm like, what the fuck? Now put this controller down, because it is a very frustrating experience. And then I grab for the mouse. Why? Because you don't seem to respect the mouse if I can ever find it. Which means I need to put my little cheat window up. Okay, you're following the mouse. Right click on the mouse. Oh, they're like, nah, we still got it. Alright. Okay, Microsoft. I tell you what, left click on the mouse. They're like, no. Middle mouse click on the mouse. They're like, no. Two mouse button. What the fuck? Hit escape. Leave the experience. That kind of shit. Hit escape again. I think they probably relinquished their grip. I think if I could, you know what, maybe I'll not forget what the mouse is if I forget that I have the controller. Which mode am I in? I'm in Microsoft mode. Well, how come I can't interact with them? Well, because we're still loading, we're still broke. Right click on the mouse. That's zoom in. Get it over here. Left click the mouse. They're like, nah, we wanna control it. We wanna drive you up the wall. Really? Just like that? So that makes me not want to have these windows anywhere useful. It's like, I want it so far away that I can't possibly get my mouse stuck on the window and never be able to get off of it. Like, what is that shit? I really do gotta shake that feeling off. See, that's why I need some funk. There's some real music, some childish shit. Something that makes me happy. And at least this music is not, 1980s bitmap Mario Brothers shit. What you got against all day? Nah. I'll sit back for a minute. I ain't touching that. That shit was not a good experience. Just give me water. Alright, so it looks like we're flying this little turnaround piece automatically. And then we're going back way out to that other waypoint. I learned something about get my feet off the rudders so I don't impact it in any way. Like you see here. So now I definitely want that little inset map because it's easier to see what you're doing. And if you're doing it well. Now, what I was trying to do was get that activate leg off my screen. And now I know I definitely want that clear and enter button mapped. But I feel like I got sucker punched and gut kicked. I need to turn the fan on. It's like, I can see what happens, like there's a motivation thing that happens when you run into some ultra frustrating stuff that should not be. And then you probably my blood pressure probably went up. Because I definitely feel the tension right here in this shoulder now. And sometimes it creeps into my jowls. And then I'm like, ready to go watch YouTube, go to sleep. What happened? For the umpteenth motherfucking time, half-baked ass fucking solo user interface, especially in VR, fucked up. You know, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of day? It started off fun though, right? Yeah, it was actually. And that's probably why software developers get fat. Right? Back in the day, what would you do in that situation? Reach for a Coke and some chips, man. Why? I'm looking for dopamine right now, man. Anything, food, that'll do it. Junk food. Don't give me a candy bar, man. Like, why do they have all that shit stocked up in the, that engineering kitchen where you give them your $3 a month? Whatever the fuck you got in there. It's probably more like 10. Like, wait, go scratch off on your name, man, because you're hitting it harder than everybody else. Designers, they just give them fucking coffee. Barista. Like, where you go to the kitchen? But I don't want to throw a whole bunch of coffee on top of this feeling. This is fucking puts you fucking 6 feet under. But the chips and the candy would do it slower. I wonder if we're on course. I have 34 nautical miles to calm the fuck down. 9 minutes, ETA 18.7 nautical miles, bearing 273 degrees. We're going from Aruba to Gouda waypoint. As long as it actually does that, I'll be fine. I have enough time to potentially... That cool air does help. I got nothing to look at, so I got time. If that would be a dopamine hit. That shit would be a massive injection. If I could get that button to work by the time I need it. What button are you looking for? I'm looking for the approach mode button. 922A. What was that noise? And I see how I gave up focus last time. This app needs to be on the same desktop as my coding window. I can see now. I could do that. That's the dopamine hit. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Where are you? Alright, let's go hunting. They said, oh, that's the one you go out. Okay. I'm like, well, whatever. Just show me Microsoft Flight Simulator. They're like, it's not here. That's desktop 2 overflow. This is desktop 2 overflow. Alright. Where is this to go? Desktop 1. You need to be on desktop 1. Alright. Select. Desktop 1, left hand side. Cool. Now, if I need to focus, at least I'm not losing context. And I don't want you to be in front of my assistant, though. Can I at least get you to not do that? And then click this and step on the pedal to get it focused. And it says, add that focus, fuck you. Oh, okay. Manual focus, take focus away, step on the pedal. Are the pedals registering? They are. Why are you not behaving? Well, there's a certain circumstance that you haven't figured out yet. Alright. Get into game mode. Focus. Now, I'm touching it and I'm having a frenzy. Click it. Game mode. Step on it. Meta mode. Click something away. Go back. Oh, don't have focus. Step on the button. And they're like, hell to the nah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like that shit. Game focus. How about if I move the mouse over here and then I click? And then I click away. They're like, well, we have mouse capture now. You're gonna have to resort to the controller to get us. And they're like, well, it doesn't really matter though. Because if you're not in meta mode, you can't take focus away. I'm gonna have to find a new home for this button. I think I might have to put it exactly next to my rudder pedal. Off to the side, and then I might have to velcro that motherfucker in place. Why? Because I'll be kicking this pedal around and I can't always find it. However, now here's the deal. The pedal's not doing it. I can see the pedal is triggering. But I do have a button, and that gives me an opportunity to go ahead and pop out OBS Studio. Time out. This scene. Windowed. Pop it out. My little cheat. Alright. And go back to broadcast mode. Alright. Now I have my little cheat window in front of my face. Good morning. I heard you. Good to see you. You're not working. I love you too, though. I'm glad you came looking for me. That means that I'm important to you. Okay. So, But Daddy can't play all the time. Okay, so what's this right here? The failure to communicate. What? You can't even speak? Failure to communicate. Okay. Hand, wiggle, wiggle, chisel, manipulate. What? Flip it. It's backwards. That's really messing me up. EPO cam. Camera hub. What is the icon? This one. I need to flip that. I don't know why it's flipped today. Where's that little icon that looks like flip your camera? I can turn on the flash. Now don't that look fantastic? Ew. Not very theatrical. Thank you, bitch. Automatic exposure, white balance, picture focus frame. You'd almost think that there would be a flip. Perhaps I hit the flip button. Outside of here. Is it over here? Do y'all have a flip mode? Well. Well. No. 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 Get out of it. No. AR lenses. Alright. That's unfortunate. Who overlooked that feature? I have to find pass through. Thanks. Meta. It'd be nice if we could drive that from here. Alright. Fantastic. Now, I don't need to see this on my screen, but since I'm not really using this monitor for anything useful, I'll tell you what I'll do. I have it over here in the upper left as a secondary location for me to cheat. Alright. What was I trying to achieve? I think. Is this Visual Studio Code? That's supposed to be code right there. I'm certain. Yeah, there you go. Alright. And this is supposed to be. There she is. And Flight Simulator wants to always chew up that much space. Now, Visual Studio Code, MIDI kitty key, iodine file. I've been working in this file as my working file. I don't think I really need test.txt anymore, but you see this? VR controller as a second-class citizen. Mouse. Grab that tab and move it over here. Latest and I. I'm trying to do I. Did I just close that shit? This is partial I. This is latest I. And this is test. Alright, now which one do I really want to be working with? Partial. Why? Because if I make a mistake, I'm not clobbering anything yet. Alright. This kind of is useful, but it was taking up too much space. Alright, let's see if I can. Now that I see I really do want the split, I might have to just make it very small. Alright, this ought to be good enough. Alright. I'm looking for approach mode 922A F 3. That is button 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 922A. Approach mode. I have control F3. Now, over here, control F3 in the autopilot section is supposed to be toggle autopilot approach hold. Where are we on this wonderful journey of ours? We have made the turn and we're back on course, headed to Avaki. At this moment in time, I would like to get that control F3. And I'm going to active pause. Did I succeed? Alright. I think I did succeed. Alright. I hate to find out that I'm still moving. But I'm glad they didn't gray out the screen with an active pause. I'm already grayed out. Like dimmed. Okay. I gotta find out why that control F3 didn't work. Keyword approach mode, right? Oh, fuck. I hate that adjustment that y'all just did. Better. Like they'll be sliding my shit ever so slightly, just enough to cover stuff up. It is a pain in the ass. And try, like Microsoft, we need a virtual keyboard. They said VR is a platform. That's why I'm a little disappointed. Like, they sold us a bunch of fucking vaporware. Right? Got that upfront money. Because now I keep having to go back and forth. I swear, in order to type, I don't have any way to type. No Microsoft keyboard input to type in your menu. Why would you give me a fucking menu in VR and no keyboard to interact with it? I'm just curious. A menu where I can type into basic control, like, surely there's some documentation that I'm missing. Like, I like to be able to, I really wouldn't want to do it, but smack myself and say, dude, you can type. And they're like, you can't. Reach out for your keyboard. I'm like, I can't see my keyboard, man. Why? Because there's no pass-through. Alright, who's that on? Is that Microsoft? Or am I thinking Meta because they got the headset? Well, Microsoft said, well, Meta's going to make it so you can bring your keyboard into the experience. Well, that's a feature request. Why? Because I'm now hunting for the home keys in the dark. Do I need to pick this up? But guess what? I didn't pin my little cheat windows, and Copilot decided to get in front of that one. So let me pin this. Let's see. Let's see if I can do it. Keyboard, where are you? Now we're getting ready to mash a bunch of buttons, so everything's gonna go haywire. But I haven't really started working on this guy yet. Okay, now I'm talking, right? Make this bigger. Make it obnoxious. I can't make it that obnoxious. Alright, home keys. There it is. Home keys. There. Now, do I have focus? No, I don't. So now, see, even though I thought I was doing it, I'm still not. I gotta make sure. I think we do have focus on that. Approach. This is gonna have to be the solution. Control F3, right? Toggle autopilot approach hold. Control F3. Well, y'all are ignoring that, right? What about PFD autopilot approach button? Control Alt 4. Alright, tell you what. Suppose I'm going to overload. Maybe that's my solution. It's going to be Control F3. That might be the solution. Why? Because it might save me when I go to a different aircraft and they actually do respond, but they don't have a PFD, so that the PFD will be a do nothing. Like, I'm trying to think ahead and go back. So now I've overloaded that. PFD approach button, toggle. But I might not want to toggle. What about button press? This one is set the autopilot approach button. No. What's this one? Increase. Decrease. On. Turn both AB localizer and glide slope. On, off. That's just straight up autopilot. PFD, I have 4 choices. Decrease, no. Increase, no. set. I don't know. Set sounds like you can't undo, so it probably is toggle. Alright. Would that make sense? Yeah, I think so. I think I want to leave it as a toggle. Alright, so if that is the case, now what mode am I in? That's the first question. I'm always looking for the meta keyword to know. I think I am in Flight Simulator mode. Control F3. So there might be nothing to do because I'm generating a Control F3. That would be another thing. Is there a tool? Is there an app that can show you the key presses that you've generated? Like if I look down here, if I hit Control F3, where's the keyboard has been moved? Where's the window that tells me where it's in front of you? Alright, can I see Control F3? Control? Is that F3? I can't see that. Oh, look, it's happening. It works. It just went to ALTS. So, that mystery has been solved. Now that I've done it like this, did I save myself any work? I'm thinking carefully. What mode am I currently in? I'm in Microsoft Flight Simulator mode. What did I just do? I gave it keyboard input. We still need a virtual keyboard. Why? Because I had to cheat and use OBS so I can see my keyboard because we don't have keyboard tracking inside of MetaQuest Link app virtual reality experience mode. So I had to create a poor man's pass-through portal so I could see a keyboard, so I could hit those keys. But it's still very awkward and it's not exactly where it needs to be because I gotta go reach. But what did I not have to do? I didn't have to switch to meta mode. I was able to immediately see the results of me hitting those keys. Now, let's see if I can do another one. I should be able to get rid of this prompt that's flashing at me by hitting menu. Nope. Clear. Hit flight plan again. Alright, now, flight level change button is not working, right? Right. Alright, so let's go and type in backspace a bunch of times. And type in flight level change. Apparently FLIGHT level change. I have a couple of different ones. Toggle up flight level change, Control Alt 9 and Control Alt 6. Alright, now I do have to go to meta mode. Flight level change is the last one, right? And I told her Control Alt. That's proc. Oh, that's right. This is all of them. Although proc doesn't have its buttons yet. I need number 8. Flight plan. No, I think I'm number 6. Direct 2. flight level change. I have control F9. Look, let's ask where I got that idea from. Control F9, toggle autopilot flight level change. So, what's this one? Toggle autopilot flight level change. I would change that to control F9. Since that's what I'm actually outputting, but I can't. I gotta get out of meta mode. That mode switching stuff is the thing. Like in the real world, you don't be thinking like that. You know what I mean? I just try to reach out and do. And it's like, are you in meta mode? Yeah. That's the answer to your question, man. I don't know. Imagine you had to daily exist, walk around asking what mode I'm in. Oh man, let me think about that for a second. Yo, what mode you in? I'm not receptive right now, get away from me. I don't know what mode I'm in, I don't want to think about it. Go back. Autopilot, PFD flight level change. I'm going to make both of them the same. If PFD exists as the same, why? Because some cockpits don't have a Garmin G1000 in it, so that's why you have PFD version and non-PFD version. Well, I'm just assuming that since I'm in something that has a PFD, they're only concerned with the PFD. I'm hoping not to get like a double toggle going, you know what I mean? So, I like to make the PFD match the same inputs as a non-PFD bearing aircraft. So, although I forgot what the fucking command is. What are you gonna do? Flight level? No. Yeah, flight level change. Flight level change is control F9. Alright, good. So I'm expecting that I should see a double mapping when I get done. Like that warning that they tried to let you know. Like over here it says conflicts. Yeah, there it is. Toggle autopilot flight level change. Right? This is toggle the autopilot flight level change button on the PFD. That's okay. I want both of them to do the same thing. I hope. Alright, now I've already done the mapping in the mapping file, so theoretically if I hit the flight level change button, we'll get that to happen. Those were the two buttons of concern, right? Alright, I have to close the door. Be right back. It's getting loud. Let it go. I ordered the the office chair roller stops. I probably should have just taped some sandpaper to the bottom. See how that works out for me? Tap, tap, sun's up. I shouldn't have looked at that. Makes me feel like, oh, it's time to go to sleep. Okay. Now, I got the overload. I know that. Okay, that's fine. So, what are we gonna do? I'm in flight sim mode. I don't need to see the keyboard right now, right? That's for multitasking. Multitasking keyboard, multitasking. Why? I feel like taking a moment to have some flight sim fun. Why? Gotta remember why bother. Alright, get out of active pause. Theoretically, I should be able to perform a flight level change and get us up above 1600 as we head to. Right now, I wanted to dismiss that menu, and the first thing I have to do in order to do that, I gotta figure out why this thing is popping open all the time. This thing right here. I want to get rid of that. Where? Alright, I can see where we are. We are apparently on our way back from Buda, heading towards Avaki. Yes, Buda to Avaki. Yes. 18 miles to go, right? So I can do some flight level changing. And I just enabled approach mode. It's on ALTS, and 1600 is currently bugged. We're at 1360. We're in pitch mode. Why? That's a big clip. See that? I dropped this motherfucker. I'm glad it happened, but the PFD button popped out. And I swear, I put this here, and there's no real reason, unless there's something on this controller. There is. It happened again, right? I move the stick side to side, flick the joystick, flick, 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 tap, flick, flick, flick. There's something. Grab the trigger, grab the grip. Is it the grip button? Some signals being interpreted as open PFD settings. Oh, found you. It's capacitive touch on button B. Is PFD setup menu of all possible menus. Now I want to understand that. Why? Because that's an annoyance that doesn't need to be annoying. It's an easy fix, right?
So theoretically, keyboard should function for me if I can find out the home keys. Why am I off there? I'm looking down to see what mode I'm in. I swear. I must not have focus. Nope. Alright, give me focus. I swear, this is a fucking annoyance. This is... Why? Because we don't have a virtual keyboard. I feel what that feels like. Backspace. Menu. Now, this is the right controller. I don't know if it's on the left controller as well. But you see that? 50 menu button, push menu button, push button decrease, 50 menu push button increase. Like, let me say assigned. And not just menu. Well, that's fucked up. There's a lot of stuff assigned to these buttons. Cockpit interactions. Well, MFT. Touch A and touch B. I'm getting ready to take those away, but I'm not sure I want to yet. What about this controller? Any PFD stuff? No, right? Okay, I can see me saying, you know, I would like to use that on a PFD. And when I remembered that I could, it probably seemed like the thing to do. I hit that button, and I hit this button, and it's not doing anything. And I hit that button again, and I get over here, and the barometer, 16. That's coarse. I can see me doing that though. 1016, 15, 16, 18, 15, 1, 16. Now why is it toggling that menu? I don't know. I don't think I want to undo that because if I just so happen to have this in my head, right? Now I wanted to do a flight level change, right? Heading. Click, 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 click. Click, 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 click. Like, that is a smooth experience. I just have to remember that functionality does exist. So, I'm not going to mess with that, but it is an annoyance because anytime I go for that button, it's going to do that. See that? Like, touch A. Is the menu button for sure. Alright, I need to get rid of that. I do not need it to activate the menu button. Alright, so let's see if we can pull off a fix for that. Menu. And I'm searching for the home keys. ENU. Touch A has 5 overlays. Alright, let's go at it from that direction. I find that very interesting. Input repetition off. Maybe that'll help. That are in opposite states. Alright, now let me unmap it in general. If I touch the button, nothing's happening here. Now if I do the heading, that still works. Check. And now I'm satisfied. Alright. So that should no longer get in my way. Alright. Let me close this menu. Now, I want to execute a flight level change. Get out of active pause. Alright, I'm in pitch mode. And now I'm like, well, you know what I would like to do? I would like to activate flight level change. Right? And it says, hey, I'm targeting 97 knots, and I will get to 1600 and maintain 97 knots. So flight level change says, hey, maintain the current airspeed and let's go ahead and increase or decrease altitude to whatever is bugged. The rebug 1600. ALTS is trying to capture. That ALT is a standby. It looks like we have captured 1580, so plus or minus. Alright, now we're in GPS mode. We're traveling to Avaki from Buda. And we got 16.4 nautical miles. We're currently holding 1,600 feet. Now, am I or am I not in approach mode? So let me go to autopilot, heading nav, approach. And now we've got GP, so we want to maintain the glide slope when we capture it. But I know that we want to be in vertical nav mode, VNAV, right? So I'm going to bug my minimum altitude. Say 200. I'll just make it up. And flight direct to altitude VNAV, third one down. I just hit VNAV and nothing occurred. Or did I hit back course? Flight direct to altitude VNAV. Oh, there it is. VPath works. I don't want back course. Find that interesting. Alright, now I want to be in nav mode. VPath. With approach mode engaged, right? So I find that interesting. What? Well, I switched out of nav mode to roll mode, but I want to be in GPS, but I also want to be in 1, 2, 3, 4 approach. And there's the GP for approach mode. Alright, so glide path. I'm in V path. Our next waypoint says we need to be. Now, I need the flight plan in order to know what the details are. So I need FPL. That's the last one. And that would be correct or incorrect? That should be correct. That should be FPL. Did I hit it? That's gotta be FPL. What's the next one up? Not working. Did we lose focus? No, we still have focus. Am I flying? I am flying, yes? Yes, I am. Things are moving. Alright, so we gotta understand why did FPL not open? And it was working in the past. Am I triggering the note? D4. I am triggering a D4. On the BFD. Let me grab the controller. Battery's low. FPL. That's what I was expecting to open. Hit the button. Can I close it? We are traveling to Avaki from Buda. We got 8.7 nautical miles. See that? I had to actually do it manually once in order for it to start registering the keystrokes again. However, it is working. Now, what I don't see is an altitude, right? Now that flight plan, I want that toggled. Whatever I toggle on the MFD, on the PFD, I want it also to register on the PFD. So I need to knock that out as well. So let's go ahead and get that done. Why? Because you get more flight plan details on the multifunction display over here to the right. And now, is there a way that I can do that cheaterly? Yeah, I can. Now here's the cheaterly method. Okay. Try to dig it over real quick. Well, first things first, let's get it into the same state. Flight plan is what I want to see. Oh, damn, did I hit the wrong button? Yep, I did. Alright. Why? Because over here I should be able to see my altitudes. Oops. I want to go up and down that list. Why? Because there's more below. I've been here before trying to figure that noise out. And it's the same story, it's twitchy. It's like if you shake at all and get off the button. How did you scroll up and down over there, right? Well, how was I scrolling earlier? Over here. Well, I was taking this knob. Nope, it wasn't the inner knob. It was the outer knob? Yes. The outer knob scrolls my list. I come over here, and I get on the outer knob, and that fucker changes pages. I get on the inner knob, and it doesn't scroll my list. And I can see that there's more down below. Press the flight plan button to see the previous page. And now I want to scroll up and down. And they're like, no. This looks to be a bug. Active flight plan. I'm trying to see the bottom half of the flight plan, folks. They're like, nah, you kids don't look at the bottom half of the flight plan. Why do I need to do that? Because you see how there's an altitude column on this one? Avaki, 92 degrees, 23 nautical miles, 2,600 feet. Well, that's what we want our V path to cross at. 2,600 feet, right? And I'm like, if you're headed towards, well, now we're on the Avaki to Lesser, I'm not believing that they managed that altitude. right? We would have missed the altitude unless Avaki is 1,500 feet. But I can't see it because they won't let me scroll down. If I hit VNav profile, it's like there's a whole bunch of if I do what. VNav D. Nah. Oh look, I hit VNav D and now I can move. Alright, I need to cross lesser, the final approach faces 1700. Right, and I'm sure that's probably at or above. But I'm at 1540 and I'm in V-path mode. Well, I'm on V-path standby. So there's something to that. Let's go with a vertical speed. And for now, manual mode, just turn it up. Try to get to my 1700. Alright, I'm in bypass mode. So we're passing our. We got 1.5 nautical miles to the missed approach point. 1.4. So it looks like it's doing its job. We gotta maintain the proper airspeed for approach 65 knots. I just pulled throttle all the way out so I can get close and drop 2 stages of flaps. So pulling back still. And we are now able to drop a stage of flaps. 2 stages, and now we should drop a chunk of airspeed. Pull the throttle out somewhere 69, 65. Gradually increase throttle. Probably somewhere around 14, 15, 1480. Alright, maybe 15, 16. Stable approach would be now. I'm in GPS approach mode.
500.
The wind is blowing at our nose. I just had my feet on the throttle, so what do you call it? The rudder pedals. So I was preventing us from facing the appropriate direction. We're at 69 knots. And I think we have validated that all of the left column buttons do work. However, they only work to control the PFD, and I want the PFD and the MFD to be in sync. So when I need to see the altitudes on the flight plan, I can. And if we're in some kind of crazy mode and they say that we had a failure on the PFD, switch to the MFD. Now I set the minimums at 200. I'm looking at the altitude right now, and we're low. I want to see if we clear the fence. Maybe I'll do 250. We do clear the fence. And we're down. I'm going to throttle out.
41 Kilo Papa Alpha 7910 contact ground on 1187.
Okay.
118.
So that's something you're not supposed to do. Nobody really flies it down to the ground like that. But for me, it's fun. Alright. So I can do this on the ground. Across the grass. And stop right here. And maybe I can watch some airplanes come and go. Looks like Maho Beach. Princess Juliana is the new lab for this section. In fact, I'm going to stop this broadcast. I'm going to go stretch for 5 minutes and come back with a mind to get the multifunction display to mirror the inputs to the PFD left column to be the same keystrokes as the PFD. So the MFD maps, well, like if I go to procedure mode here, then I want it to activate procedure mode here. And then I have options depending upon where I'm sitting in the cockpit. If I want to go to menu, it would pull up the menu over here also. I seldomly use the menu, but flight plan, toggle flight plan button, toggle flight plan. And I can see all the additional details on this side. So that way I can drive both of them with the same keystroke. And then I don't have to do double mappings. So that's what we're going to pick up when I get back in the saddle.